Hello everyone, very good morning and good evening. Parminder here. Welcome to SAP S/4HANA Simple Logistics Training Session. I hope you all are able to hear me clearly and you can also see my screen. Can anyone quickly confirm over the chat window?
Yes, Parminder.
Okay, that's great. So in our last session, we covered the MRP. First, we covered the basics of MRP, that what is MRP. That part we have covered. And when we try to understand MRP, we also try to understand what are the shortcomings of those MRP. So we listed down the different shortcomings of MRP based on your experience and based on my experience, we have listed down here. And we have discussed each one of them. And we also tried to understand that whether S/4HANA would be able to provide any solution for that. If yes, what is the, which component will provide that solution? Whether MRP Live will resolve that issue, or whether MRP Live will resolve the issue, or DDMRP or embedded PPDS will provide a solution to get answered. Or there can be some things which has been mentioned in red here. We said that the MRP will not be able to provide. S/4HANA will not be having any solution. We need to go to the additional APO or IBP products to adopt those solutions. So that was our MRP discussion. Here also we discussed some things. We discussed setup-based planning. We discussed bottom-up planning. We also discussed about the stock net-offs. So that part we have discussed. Then we went ahead and we discussed on the MRP area. So after discussing that, what is the basics of MRP? Here we discuss the basics of MRP area, that what is MRP area and why do we require a MRP area? That's what we have discussed. So we have discussed both the MRP area can be required at the storage location level. This was the example for storage location. And this was the example for the subcontracting MRP area. So that was our yesterday discussion where we tried to understand the basics of MRP and MRP area. Now we'll proceed ahead and I will be explaining you the changes. What is the MRP Live? What things would be there? What applications would be there? And what are the changes in MRP area? That's what we will be discussing it. But before we proceed ahead, let me take a quick pause here to check if you have any question from the previous session. Okay, guys, if you don't have any question from the previous session, I will proceed ahead. And then I will first explain you what is MRP Live, how it would be different than classic MRP. Then we'll go into the system and we'll see in the system. So our topic is MRP Live. Within MRP Live, so first what will happen, we'll try to understand why MRP Live is required. We'll first try to understand what is the classic MRP. So with the classic MRP, when user come and he give a command to run MRP, what happens? So we have that command would be coming from GUI, right? Graphical user interface, that is your presentation layer. Then this command actually goes to your application layer. This is your application layer. Now with this application layer, your MRP logic, your algorithms which do the calculation, aggregation, all are sitting here in your application layer. And then you are having here your database layer. In database layer, your all tables are available here. Your planning files, your master data, your sales orders, PIRs. So all of these hundred of thousand of tables are there, which is required when MRP run to check, because it need to also check stocks, It needs to check plan independent requirements. It needs to check master data. It needs to check sales orders, open purchase orders, purchase requisitions, planned orders, production orders. So many things it needs to check. So what happens when MRP runs? It keeps on giving command to the this database system. This is my HANA DB system, not HANA, traditional DB. It keep on giving command and then getting a data. This doesn't happen in one shot. So systems select the materials and then it get the data from the traditional database. Data comes back in the application layer. The calculations happens, the algorithms applied. Then it asks more data. Then it asks more data. Then it get. If you remember our earlier session, the initial sessions which we have done, we said that this traditional database is basically running on a rotating disk and drum. It's a mechanical device. And the problem with this traditional database system, its throughput is very low because it's running on a mechanical device. So whenever anyone asks to extract the data, the performance is very poor. That's why when the data has been extracted from disk and RAM, it creates a lot of load on the server. And for MRP run, when you require 1,000 of tables and data is required frequently, so many commands goes, take the data and comes back, it creates a significant load on the system, which makes the system slow. Because traditionally itself, it is not a good system to get data extracted. So to reduce the load, what we have done, we have put it a calculation and algorithm logic here, so that the traditional database we are only using to extract the data. But even to do this process also, it can take around 2 to 3 hours sometime. Or sometime 30, 40 minutes or 60 minutes, depends on company to company, the kind of volume they are having. And this makes the process very slow. That's another reason that because of this architecture, we need to run MRP on the night job runs, because this kind of load we cannot sustain it on during the daytime when a lot of users has been logged into the system, they are working in the system, and then you are running this kind of complex processes which is making your database slow, so your transaction processes will become slow. So that is the basic drawback in the classic MRP. So this is classic MRP. This is basic drawback in classic MRP. Why its performance is not good? Why we need to run MRP run in the background batch jobs? This is the one of the major reason which we are having. So this is classic MRP. Now we will be discussing what is MRP live. In MRP live also we are having a application layer. We are having a user who would be using GUI or Fiori to give command for MRP. The command comes to the application layer. So that run MRP command, actually rather than running this algorithm calculations here, a logic has been rewritten in the HANA database. This is my HANA database. Where all the tables would be there. Apart from the tables, it would also be having your MRP logic. So MRP logic is now rewritten in HANA database in your SQL language. So now here I am having MRP logic. So my algorithms, calculations, aggregation of data, everything I would be doing in HANA database because the logic is there. The command will go, it will run the algorithm MRP logic that will fetch the data from the multiple tables from wherever required, and it will send it back to application layer, and application layer will be reading this MRP result and sharing it with the user. So this part we are able to do, we are able to write the MRP logic here because we are running on an in-memory database. So we discussed what is in-memory database, why it works so fast compared to a traditional database. So that part we have discussed in our very initial sessions. So because of that thing, now what happens with the MRP Live, the logic is there on HANA database, and the transfer of the data between the database and your application layer has been reduced drastically. So the number of data which is transferred between the application layer and traditional database system is very low. HANA database itself is having a capability to do the on-the-fly calculations, parallel calculations, so that functionalities has been used. So all the calculations happens within the HANA database itself using its computation power of in-memory DB. Compute the results, give it to the MRP, and that results has been fetched back to the user. So this is basically your MRP Live, and because of this concept, the data transfer between application layer and the database is less, and we are using HANA database. The logic has rewritten in the HANA database system. The performance will be high. We will be having a very high performance. Earlier, there were some things which we were doing to make sure that the load doesn't increase when we run the MRP. That kind of things would not be required. Now we would be having, with this architectural change, we would be able to have a high performance with MRP Live. I will take a quick pause to check if you guys have any questions here on the difference between MRP, classic MRP and MRP Live. If you have any question, you can unmute yourself and ask. Okay, if you don't have any question, let's proceed ahead. So now what is going to happen here, although we are having a MRP Live, but still classic MRP is there. So it doesn't mean that this algorithm and logic from here has been completely removed. No, it has not completely removed. Still, we would be having a classic MRP also here. That logic is also here. So the classic MRP logic is still there to make sure that all of the things has not been gone, all of the algorithm has not been gone into the MRP part. There would be some things which would be still there in the classic MRP. Let's say your reorder based planning, which is state away planning. Based on few parameters system need to calculate. So that would be happening through the classic MRP. Your logic of your configurable material, variant configurable material. For that material planning, the characteristics based planning, that also would be the logic is there in classic MRP. It has not shifted to the new MRP. The another reason to have a classic MRP is that you have a lot of bodies and enhancements which you do on the existing MRP. So if you're coming from the conversion, when you come here, all the bodies and all the enhancements which you do it, you have done here. In this part, you have done the enhancements, if any enhancement you have done. So that enhancement would be working with this logic. It cannot be automatically shifted to this logic, which is on the database with SQL. So those bodies or enhancements of the customer exit, which has been provided, is with the classic logic. So if you want to still use those enhancements, need to work, you can switch to the classic MRP. You can do the classic MRP. So your classic MRP would be happening with transaction MD01, MD02, MD03. Those would be the classic MRP transaction. The MRP live transaction would be MD01N. Although there is a capability in MRP live that although you are running MD01N, but there are some materials, let's say it's a reorder based planning material, that material is supposed to run through the classic MRP. So system has a capability, the algorithm, the logic is there that system can identify which materials need to run in the through the MRP live and which materials need to run through classic MRP. Although you are running it through MD01N, which is a new transaction, system will automatically run some materials in classic MRP if MRP live doesn't support. So what would be actually happening? Let's say you are running MD01N transaction. First thing, it will identify that this material which you want to run, whether this material need to be planned through PPDS. So MD01N run would be a MRP live run, will also happen from here. Classic MRP run can also happen from here. PPDS run can also happen from here. So first it will be identifying whether MRP need to run or we need to run PPDS for that material. For a single material, either we can run MRP or we can run PPDS. We cannot do both. So system will identify whether the PPDS need to run. How system will identify the PPDS need to run? System would be checking advanced planning. In advanced planning, if the advanced planning indicator has been ticked, system will say that PPDS need to be run. If that indicator is not ticked, system will say we need to run MRP. Then system will try to identify, after this point, system will try to identify within the MRP, do we have force classic? So there is a transaction which you can use it, and with this transaction you can put force classic. Force classic means that you can put some material and plant combination where your enhancements are there, and you can say that although I'm using MD01N transaction, but for this particular materials, I need to go ahead with the force classic. Only classic MRP need to run. So system will check it from here and system will do a classic MRP run. Classic MRP run where the algorithms has been used from the application layer. The old algorithms has been used. If system will say no, we don't have any classic MRP run, then system has its internal logic to check whether MRP live supported for that scenario which we want to do, whether we can do MRP live. If system say answer for that is no, again system will be going and doing a classic MRP. If MRP live can be done yes, then MRP live logic will run. So this is how system would be checking when you run MD01N transaction. That first system will check the PPDS. If PPDS is done, the advanced planning system would be doing a embedded PPDS run. Embedded PPDS run would be happening. If MRP run need to happen, system would check Do we have a force classic indicator? If the force classic indicator is there, it will do the classic MRP. If the force classic indicator is not there, then it will check whether the scenario is supported in MRP line. If it is supported as an MRP line, then system would be running MRP. So three kind of things is there: embedded PPDS, classic MRP, and MRP live. And this is the logic how system would be identifying that which one need to run. Okay, I will take a quick pause to check if you have any question on the MRP live and this system architecture, how from MD01N system would be doing a multiple different runs. If you have a question, you can unmute yourself and ask it before we proceed ahead.
So, Parminder, the master data relevant for like master data, material master data, like MRP type, all will remain same, right? Like X0, if earlier if it was APO relevant, it was X0, and MRP is either PD or whatever VB or that will remain same, right? For MRP live also.
Yeah, that will remain same. There is no change. Only thing is that apart from X0, if it is embedded PPDS, in advanced planning, we have a advanced planning tick for that material. So if the advanced planning is ticked, then it will go through PPDS.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, sure.
Parminder, this is Vic. I had a quick question. So the force classic decision tree, where is that basically flagged? Because PPDS is straightforward. It's probably on the material messages, like you said. But if that is not ticked, then how does the system know whether it's going to be a classic MRP or MRP live? Is there some kind of indicator for that?
So we have a transaction here. MD. I need to check the exact transactions of, but this kind of transaction is there. In this transaction, you need to go and you need to tick material plus plant combination. You need to tick whichever need to go for the classic.
Okay. And one more question, Parminder, very quickly. So the data setup, master data. So once again, the data structure that you basically use for APO, things like PDS and all that is unique to APO. You don't use that for MRP runs. So depending on the kind of the option that you choose, will there be again some subtle differences in what data sets are required? Data setups are required.
So there would not be much difference between the classic MRP and MRP live because the logic is same. The only thing is logic has been shifted to your HANA database. The 98% or 95% logic is same between classic MRP and MRP live. The embedded PPDS is totally a different logic, which will require a different master data set. So that master data set, earlier we were maintaining some data in our ECC system and then transferring it to the APO, and some data was directly maintained within the APO. Right now, all of the data would be maintained within S4HANA system. So whatever the material specific data you need to maintain within the material master itself. There is a new tab for advanced planning. Under that advanced planning, whatever the material master data you need to maintain, for the advanced planning, in that tab you need to maintain.
Thanks, Parminder. I think the SIF headaches will go away, right? I mean, what you have today when you send data and all that, I mean, hopefully that will go away because PPDS is now embedded within HANA, correct?
Yes, so SIF has been highly simplified. So there, I think only the couple of objects is there which require SIF. But apart from that, the SIF has been highly simplified. You don't require SIF. The transaction move automatically between the embedded PPDS and S4HANA. Okay, guys, so if we don't have any another question, I will move ahead. I will jump in quickly into the system. By the time I'm jumping into the system, you can, if you have any question, you can still ask.
So Parminder, DDA MRP is the same structure or something else actually?
DDMRP is MRP type within MRP. So let's say we have a reorder based planning, we have a MRP planning. The same way we are having a DDMRP. It's a different MRP type. So from tomorrow onwards, we'll be discussing DDMRP in very detail. Almost 2 sessions we'll be spending on DDMRP. Okay, let's go into the system and let's check. So I'm going into SAP logon. So here, let's first see the transaction MD01N, which is there for MRP Live. So this is our MD01N transaction, which you can see for MRP Live. So here you will see, now I will explain here that what are the additional things we are having here in this transaction. So here you will see neither the plant is mandatory nor material is mandatory. None of the field is mandatory here. You will see that if you run MD0102, either material and plant or the plant is the mandatory things. Here nothing is mandatory. But out of these 4 things, you need to fill at least one. You need to fill so that system would be able to proceed ahead. So here also you will see that from and to is there. And you are having here this selection from where you can select the multiple plants. Okay, so from here you can say that I want to run it for SG01 to SG05 plants. All 5 plants I want to run MRP. System will do together that MRP. Material is not there, system will select all materials and do the MRP. If you say that I want to run SG01 to SG05 from my A to C material. So these materials system will run on these plants specific from these plants. So what we can do from here in a single run, you can do it for the combination of multiple materials plus multiple plants. So multiple materials and multiple plants combination MRP, you can run it, but it doesn't mean, okay, that's where the confusion comes. So if you have mentioned it here that I want to run for material A and plant, you have mentioned it here, let's say the 3 plants you have mentioned, SG01, SG02, SG03. It doesn't mean that for this material A, system will be doing creating a bucket one and doing a MRP run for these 3 plants. Although the MRP run can be done together, but still it would be separate. A would be run on SG01, then separately A will run on SG02, and separately A will run on SG03. The one discussion which we have is the stock net-offs. The stock net-off system would not be doing. It is not like that system is checking that what is the total requirement of A in these 3 plants and what is the total receipts in these 3 plants, and then system will do a cumulative MRP. No, cumulative MRP is not there. Still it is the individual plant level, but your MRP run within a single run for one material or multiple material combination to the multiple plants, you would be able to run. This is the one thing. Another thing is that if you are putting a multiple plants and a single material, what should be the sequence? So here we don't define the sequence. Sequences identify the system by system. System automatically identify the system that which plant is supplying to which plant if there is a relation. If system identify the relation that one plant is supplying to another plant, then system would be going ahead setting up that sequence automatically is the background logic for that, and system would be using that sequence. If there is no link that these plants doesn't provide to each other, that linkage is not there, system will just go with the chronological order of the plants and system will execute one by one all the 3 plants for the same material. Apart from that, you are having an option here for a product group. You can select a product group for which product group you want to run. You can select a MRP controller for which MRP controller you want to run. And material scope. In the material scope, you can define it here that whether you want to do for the MRP material or MPS material, master product scheduling materials, or you want to run all together for both of them. That scope you can identify it. Do you want to plan a single level planning or a multi-level planning? That also can be done from here. If you want to run a single level planning, don't select these ones. If you want to do a multi-level planning within the plant, you need to select that the BOM components need to be selected or not. So if you select that all order BOM components, all system would also checking that within A, X, Y, and Z, 3 raw materials are there. System, you are running for A, system will also run for X, system will also run for Y, system will also run for Z. If you select only change BOM components, which is a preferred one to have a better performance, whichever BOM component has a change related to the planning, only that would be run. If you select all order BOM components, everything will, all materials, all components under this material A, system will do a MRP run for that. Then we have stock transfer materials. So now let's say you say that you have run this, now X, Y, Z, Y is supplied from plant B and Z is supplied from plant C. So if you take this one also, what system would be doing? System would be doing a MRP run for Y, material Y in the plant B and material C, the material Z in the plant C. System will do the MRP run. So let's say you have just mentioned it here, a material A, nothing else. System will automatically find this material A is there in which plants. System will identify, run the MRP. You have selected the BOM component. It will also run MRP for this, this, and this. Then it will try to understand if this component has been supplied by another plant. It will jump into that plant, although you have not mentioned here in your planning scope. It will automatically jump, and it will also run for plant B and C. That system can do automatically. Okay. Then apart from that, we are having an option here for one option here. We are having a regenerative planning, and then we are having an option for scheduling, and then we are having an option for planning mode. Regenerative planning, basically we use it wherever we need to when we need to run a MRP for first time. Okay, well, irrespective of any change happened or not, we would be doing that MRP for all materials. So if you are running it for first time, we do the regenerative planning. So if you're running it for first time, we do the regenerative planning. So with the regenerative planning, so the system will be selecting all the materials, whether they have been changed in the last MRP run or not. System will select all of the materials, and based on all of the materials, system would be doing a planning run. Okay, so it would be having a impact on the performance. So we need to make sure that only materials, only you run it for first time, that is a manual run. Your background run should not be having a regenerative tick. Okay, so this is all materials. Otherwise, system would be checking for the, if you remember that in earlier transaction, we were having a net change in planning horizon, NET, NETCH, those keys were there, right? Those keys are not required. System has only two options, either select everything or only select which has been changed. So if you want to select which has been changed, whatever the material has been changed from the last planning run, only those materials need to be run in this run. Then you need to untick it. Then you have having a scheduling option, the same way the scheduling option was also available in your classic MRP options, that whether you need to do a basic date calculations or you need to do the detail dates, production schedule dates, you want to identify it based on the operation hours mentioned. So whether that kind of schedule dates you want it, or you want to run the planning on the basic dates, that you can select from here. From the planning mode, you would be able to select it. From the planning mode would be having a two option here, adapt planning mode and delete and recreate planning data. So always it is recommended that in the planning mode, we need to use adapt planning. Second one is regenerate data. So what would be happening in adapt planning? In adapt planning, let's say if you're having a purchase requisitions, which was planned from the previous run. In the next run also, when system is running it, system try to calculate the purchase requisition. And system say that, okay, this purchase requisition which I have created, the first one, in the new run also the same purchase requisition is required on same dates with same quantity. So system will retain this purchase requisition. The unformed purchase requisition, if there is no change in the new planning run, same date, same quantity, exactly same purchase requisition would be coming up with the next planning run. System will retain this purchase requisition. System will not delete. If the another purchase requisition 2 is there, and now the date need to be changed for this, although the quantity is same, then system will delete this purchase requisition 2 and system will create a new purchase requisition 3. In regenerate data, if you are having a 3 purchase requisition, 1, 2, 3, all unformed are there, irrespective whether it is changed in the new one, new planning run, whether any data has been changed for them or not. System will delete all of them and system will create a new purchase requisition 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we should always make sure that we should select adapt planning mode. That is the better mode to run. Name of the performance log is nothing. You can just put it your name here. And then when you will be checking the performance log, what is the performance of this MRP, how long it has taken, how many materials are planned on SAP HANA, how many materials are planned on classic MRP. So that results you would be able to check it from this log. This is the new one, the output material list. With this output material list, basically when you will be running it as a background batch job. So with the background batch jobs, you would also be able to put a spool list for the materials which has been planned under this MRP run. That materials would be included in your spool list. Detail of the materials would be included in the spool list. So that is basically your MRP live, and that is how MD01N single transaction would be able to do the multiple things, and it would be having a more flexibility. You would be able to jump into the different dimensions from the single planning run. I will take a quick pause here to check if you have any question on this transaction before we execute it. You can ask it now. Okay, guys, you can unmute yourself now.
Yeah, sorry, Parminder. I had a couple of questions here.
Yes, please.
So first is there is no simulation, right, in MRP Live, like what we had in our, like we can do the simulation. simulation check
simulation
indicator
is not there.
Okay, and yeah, and second is if I want to do single item multi-level, then I will check that all order BOM components, is it, for a material?
Yes, yes, right.
MD02. Okay.
Yes.
And third is here in material scope, you said like we will do MPS also here. That means our MPS transaction codes are obsolete then, MD 41, 42, 43?
No. Those codes has not been obsoleted. Those codes are still there. The same way MD01, 02, 03 is there. Those codes are still there. MD01N is the additional code.
No, MD 41, 42, 43, MPST codes.
Yes, those are still there.
Okay. Okay.
Even though this MRP run also, you can do it from MD01, 02, 03, right? Those code are also still there. So this is optional, whether you want to use MRP live or whether you want to run classic MRP, that is the option system is giving you.
Okay. Yeah, fine. Yeah. Thanks.
Hey, Parminder, a couple of questions from my side. So my first question here is that the system intelligence to do sequencing, automatic sequencing, where you have a chain here, where your distribution center wants products, then it creates a STR, and then it goes to your, maybe a packaging plant. From there, you then route to your vendor to get your subcontract materials, things like that. Typically use special procurement keys or PIRs for that. So for that intelligence to run through this MRP live transaction, you still need those data setups, SPKs and PIRs to create lanes and all that.
Yes, that's right. So SPKs is an important data set here, which actually would be creating a lane between the two different plants. And the procurement type is also important. That would be identifying that what kind of proposal need to be generated, whether a subcon PR need to be generated or whether purchase requisition or a planned order. So that data set still would be working as the same as it was working with MRP.
Okay, thanks. And my second question is, this planning mode that we have, I think, like you said, recommended is adapt planning. But what would be a good scenario to run your regenerate data from a planning mode standpoint?
The first time, when you are doing this run for first time, then we do a regenerative planning and planning mode as a regenerate data, so that system do a full planning and whatever the existing unformed requirements are there in the system delete them and create a fresh one. That is one of the case where basically we go ahead with the regenerate data.
Got it. And one more last question here: the output material list, and the creation of spool list. I think that's great. But my question is, if you ran this through a background job and you flag that checkbox, output material list, would you be able to see that material list log in your SM37? If you go to SM37 to look at the job log, would you have the same information there? Okay.
Yes, that there basically you would be able to see the spool, and within the spool it would be having the list of materials.
Got it. Thank you, Parminder.
I have one question on the chat window. MPS. So Puneet, basically MPS is a master product scheduling, where basically what you do that few materials you want to run it first, which are your key materials. You want to run those materials first and confirm that whether whatever the MRP results came out from that materials is good, and those would be defining that further dependent requirement would be generated for other materials, and then only you would be generating a MRP run. So your key material set, which is your critical material set and which is generally your high level finished goods, you separate out in a separate run, that is your MPS run, and those you would be running it first, checking their outcome of that, confirming the outcome, and then in the second run you will be running a MRP for all of the materials. Okay, any other question, guys?
Even opening period is not considered, right, Parminder, here? Like we had in our old, like MD01, like create purchase requisitions in opening period, planned orders in opening period indicator, right?
Yeah, that is also not there.
Okay.
Any other question, guys, before we jump ahead? Okay, if you don't have any other questions, so what we'll be doing, we would be going ahead and I would be creating, let's first check the MD04, and then after checking MD04 for our material, we would be putting some PIRs. For PIRs also, we have a new Fiori application, and one of the Fiori application has just introduced in 1909 itself for PIR. So from that, we'll be putting some plant independent requirements, and then we'll try to run MRP run for our material to check the results of MRP. And then we'll also check the further another applications which are available for MRP, that also we'll be checking. So let's go into MD04 first. So our material is SG05. Sorry, SG02. FG01 batch. I think this is the one we are using. Plant is SG02. So here we are having this stock of 142, and we are having a multiple customer orders are there. Okay, and then our available quantity is 84. Okay, now what we'll be doing, I will be adding some PIRs to it, plant independent requirements, and then we would be generating MRP. So to add some PIRs, we'll go into the Fiori. So in Fiori, we'll be trying to check the PIR related application. Let me search from here. PIR. So earlier we were having a manage PIR application. Now it has been replaced with the maintain PIR. Maintain PIR. So this is the application which will be using it. So whenever you are in this MRP applications, one thing you need to note it down, that you need to first go into this me area. And here, when you are in the application, whichever application is having an application specific setting, you will find it here. So this application is having an application specific setting. So you need to go into the application specific setting, responsibility area. So right now, 1710820 is my responsibility area. I need to add my plant and the MRP controller here. So our plant is HC02. So we have multiple MRP areas here. So I will select all of these MRP areas. Now I would be able to see all the materials from the this combination which we have selected. So I will select my plant as SG02. And here we are having a material SG02 ABC, FG01 batch, and SG02, FG02 Fiori. These three materials we are having. So let me go into the first material first to maintain PIR. So here you can go into the edit, and then you would be able to maintain your PIR's quantity here. Okay, and system also do based on the calculation from the previous sales quantity. System also propose that what should be the PIR's quantity. What is the proposed PIR quantity for the next month? So I will go into the edit mode here. And I will be maintaining some, what's here, 50, 100, 150. So this is the PIR quantities which I'm maintaining it for July, August, and September period. And system would be mentioning that my PIR quantities are double. So it is mentioning that the accuracy is 200% as of now. We have 200 double quantity maintained as a PIR, and sales quantity is received only half. So that system is showing us here. I will go ahead and save this PIRs. So plant independent requirement has been created here. Then I will refresh it. Now you can see here that we are having the PIRs which we have created here, 50, 100, and 150 has been available here. So that part has been provided here. So our independent requirement came here. Now we would be going ahead and we'll try to run MRP. So here we are having a shortage of 158. So we are expecting that it would be creating a purchase requisition. Let me check the material master data also. For this material. FG01 batch. SG05. No, SG02. Let me maintain procurement type as F. External procurement. And save. So it has been saved. Now what we'll be doing, we'll be quickly generating our MRP live. So in MRP live, I will just mention here my plant, SG02. Let it run for all of the material which is there under this plant. And I will mention all other bombs, although the bomb is not there, stock transfer material, regenerative, lead time scheduling, planning model as a delete and recreate planning data. So that is the things I'm mentioning it here. And then I will execute it. So MRP run has been done. Here it shows you the information that total 4 materials has been planned. Out of those materials, how many has been successfully planned? On MRP HANA, 4 material has been planned. If any material has been planned on classic MRP, you would be getting update here that what are the materials which has been planned through the classic MRP. From here itself, you can go into the stock requirement list, and we want to go ahead for SG02, FG01 batch. So you can see that system has generated two purchase requisitions. Two purchase requisition has been generated, one for quantity 8 and one for quantity 150. Okay, so that we would be able to see from here. And system is proposing a rescheduling here with the exception message. Now this thing will improve. Now I will show you some Fiori applications. So this understanding, we are doing a very simple thing here. When you will be having 100 of orders, purchase requisitions, multiple things would be here. Understanding this table is very difficult for an end user. So actually an action is required in this purchase requisition. And by seeing this date and by seeing this exception message, the end user are not able to easily understand what action they need to take. So for that, SAP has provided a Fiori applications where basically you would be able to see a better picture of MD04. So now I am going into another application. Let me open it in the new tab. And here, let me go through this. And I would be going into the planning part. Production planning and execution. Not this. Yeah, this one's. So maintain PIR we have seen. Now we are having a monitor material coverage. This is the one application. And then check material coverage. So this is actually like MD04. Here you can directly go material bias. You can enter your material here. Our material is SG02 underscore FG01 batch. You should propose a material, but it's not proposing here. So this is showing you. This would be showing you the same kind of view which you are able to see here. Like MD04 view is there. Your system is showing you what is the total stock, what is the individual requirement, and after that, what are the customer orders would be there. You would be able to see. You can see a cumulative view from here, where basically your customer orders altogether. It has 7 elements. It is on the one date. System has clubbed them. And these are the purchase requisitions are there, which system has created. So all of the details you would be able to get it from here. So this is still a basic one. Actually, the view was a little bit better in 1809. They have changed. In 1809, it was having all of the symbols here, that which are the things which is reducing your quantity, which are the things receipts are there, which is increasing your quantities. So up and down arrows was also there, which is not there in 1909. But the better thing is here with the graph. So in the right side here, the third part is the graphical part. So if I click on this graph here you would be able to understand that what was your quantity in July 2020. You were having a on-hand quantity was 142. Now this has been reduced. So if you will scroll it to the right, you will see that how it has been reduced. So it has reduced to available on hand as 100 within the July. Then you have not received any requirement. Then on 18th of July, you received some requirement. It is reduced to 93, 92. It has been reduced. Then on the 3rd and on the 4th August, it reduced and it went into the -8. Okay, here it went into the -8, and then we had a shortage for next 3 days for that, and then we have one receipt quantity which was available, and then again some requirement PIR is there in the month of September. For that, system has planned that there would be a PIR and the requirement. So you can see here that where exactly the shortage is. This is my shortage. All right. And let's see one more thing I will be doing. I will go into this MD04 and this 150 purchase requisition, I will delete it. Let's say this is a new requirement which came up through the sales order or through the PIR. So we're discussing about this purchase requisition. So what I was doing, I was trying to delete this purchase requisition so that we can see some better results in our graph. So let me delete this purchase requisition. Okay. Quickly run this in MD04. So purchase requisition has been deleted. Now we are having a -150 quantity here. Let me also refresh this one. Let me go one step back and rerun this also. Check material coverage. SG02, SG01 underscore batch. Okay. So now we are having a -150 quantity here. And system is directly proposing us here that we can do the change or we can directly do the delete here. So that direct actions also we can take it from here. And then let us go back into our graph now. And let's see that where our demand is getting reduced. So you can see that below, you can easily see that here the demand has reduced, and till this point we are having a demand. So here you are having a -150 quantity and there is no proposals here. So you can just click on here and then system will try to propose that what can be the solution for this. Okay, system is saying that you are already having a purchase requisition quantity, which is on 7th of August, which is coming. There's two things which you can do. You can create a new purchase requisition, which is at this below option, or you can go ahead and increase the quantity of your existing purchase requisition with 150 pieces. And here system also gives that whether it's a 3-star solution, 2-star or 1-star. 3-star means it will completely resolve your demand and supply issue. So if you go ahead, it will be completely resolving. The both would be completely resolving. If you would be having a multiple vendors from where you can get the materials, system would be proposing you the multiple purchase requisition, which you can get it from different vendors, and how, as per their planned delivery time, how they would be able to supply it. You can click on simulate and check it. So let's say I click on simulate here. Now my graph will change. Now in this graph, in the simulation, you can see here that I am getting this quantity 150 here itself. And then on 7th of July, on 7th of August, I would be going in positive, and the requirement which is coming for 1st of September, I would be still remaining there in positive. That's what system is showing me here. So I can apply that, or I can also go and cancel that. That depends on me, that what we want to do. If I will apply, system will change this purchase requisition quantity from 150 to 158. Okay, so let me click on apply. You can also change the date here if you want to do. So This is the current, this is the required, and what you want to do it, you can put it here. I'm just clicking on OK. It says that purchase requisition could not be changed. Purchasing group is not there. So let me do one thing. Let me go inside the purchase requisition. I think we have not maintained the purchasing group in our master data. That's why it is not able to identify the purchasing group. Okay, let me quickly check all the details in the purchasing. So this is purchasing group. I'm not sure whether we have created our purchasing group or not. SG, okay, I will use some which we have. This SG1 I will use. And I will save it. So generally purchasing group, we maintain it at the material level, and from there it is automatically copied into the purchase requisition. Let me try to do now apply. Now purchase requisition has been changed, and now you will see here that the quantity which was there in negative, now it has been resolved. It's in the processed. Now the only issue is there. So this issue has been resolved, but here you are still having some negative quantities. Okay, so you can also change this purchase requisition if required. If supplier can give it early, you can put it a earlier date, and then that also system would be able to resolve that issue also. So here now -8 is there. Let me check if system propose some for this -8. So here system is proposing this purchase requisition. Okay, this purchase requisition, which is now formed because we have changed this purchase requisition. Requisition happened formed. The formed component would be displayed here with the lock key. Now system is proposing if this one you can get it 3 days before. If you can prepone this one with the 3 days before, you would be able to actually answer your shortages here. So that also you can simulate it and you can do the changes from here to answer this shortages. So that's how we can do it with this application. This is a material specific application. Like MD04, we need to enter a material. Then we have a monitor material coverage. The monitor material coverage would be showing us all the materials together wherever the shortages is there. So you need some information from system that which are my material which is actually having a shortages, so that you can check those materials from here. Okay, and then you can take some actions on that. So let's say this is a shortage quantity. Let me sort based on the shortage quantity. Descending. So wherever the shortage quantities are more, I want to see those on the top. So you can see these are having a shortage quantities. And what is the shortage duration is the shortage will be remain here for 37 days. Okay, and this is the shortages would be there for 24 days. That system is showing us that there are the different materials which is having a shortages. So let's see if system is showing our material here. Our material is SG02, right? So this is our material, SG02. System is saying that for 2 days, the between time, so system shows the calendar days. For that many number of calendar days, the shortage would be there. What is the shortage quantity? 8 pieces is the shortage quantity. And then what is the first date when the shortage is coming? On 4th of August, the shortage is coming. So from here, you can select the multiple materials which you want to work, where you want to resolve the shortages. You can select them and you can click on manage materials. Now you will go again the same screen here, where left hand side you would be having a multiple things available. So if you see SG02, FG01 batch, this shows you your complete list here. So this is also showing that this has been rescheduled. We have preponed this one. That icon is showing here. And again, you can also go into the graphs and you can do the further processing. Now the multiple evaluation modes are available here. We are doing with MRP standard. Then we are also having a ordered requirement. So if you go into the ordered requirement, let's see what happened. System is only showing me the customer orders. System is not showing me the forecasted quantities, which is my plant independent requirement. So that is another good feature which is available. If you want to just check based on your stock or based on your receipt, what situation is there if you want to check it without checking your PIR. So right now we are working on PIR. So based on you can clearly see that based on the customer orders we have, we are in good. We are in plus 84. And once this purchase requisition will come, we are in 242. So this situation is not that bad, which was looking earlier because the quantities were coming from PIR. You can also select from here ordered receipts. So when you select the order receipts here, system will be showing you the customer orders. This is the customer orders, and based on the available on-hand stock, what is the situation? If you have any purchase requisition as an internal document, and whether you will receive the stocks or not is not certain, right? So if you just want to say that based on your stocks available and based on the customer orders you have, what is your situation? Then you can do it from here. If you want to see exactly same as MD04, you can go to the MRP standard. So multiple shortage definitions are available. Based on that, you would be able to see the multiple views here. I will take a quick pause here to check if you have any question. You can ask it now before we proceed ahead. Pramod, if you're speaking, I'm not able to hear.
Yeah, how the exception messages will be shown in this Fiori screen by number or?
No, actually exception, this is what you are seeing is actually the exception only. So let me show you.
Rescheduling column, is it?
Yes, so here whatever you are seeing, this is your exception, where basically you have some purchase requisition which you need to retweak it. Either you need to reschedule it to prepone it. This is your exception. Okay, and this is your system is suggesting you reschedule this one. The problem with the exception messages is in that grid, there are the multiple exception messages unless a user get a visualization that what they need to do it, whether some rescheduling is required and why this rescheduling is required, what are the demand elements because of that rescheduling is required. That visibility doesn't come from MD04 and the exception messages. This is nothing but your exception message only. Your system is proposing you that you can tweak this purchase requisition so that your demand and supply can match.
Okay. Yeah, it's clear. Yeah. And this rating is SAP standard, is it, or it is configurable? This star rating.
No, it's not. SAP has not provided any configuration for that. It's a standard one.
Okay.
Parminder, order receipt view, can you just show it that again? I just want to understand that when we receive the quantity from the supplier, on that day it's showing it covers the stock, or can you just explain it to me more about order receipt? Yeah.
Order receipt will be basically only showing you that your confirmed receipts, your purchase requisition system would remove it. Even system will not show you that on the date, which date you are supposed to get it, that system will not show you.
Okay. And is there any way to view the exception? Because if some companies moving from old version to this new version, so mostly users know about these exceptions. So maybe they are just trying to find out where are these exception messages. So is there any way to view that exceptions code?
Yeah, you can always view it from this MD04. So
Okay.
their exception is there, and the same MD04 Fiori application is available, which will be exactly showing you the same screen. There you can see the exception messages also.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, guys?
So in planned independent requirement in Fiori, we have that withdrawal quantity and requirement quantity section also, is it? Like I saw the way you entered a forecast in the month of 7. But in our regular MD61, we have that schedule line tab, right? Wherein we see once the delivery and withdrawal is done, that keeps updating based on our consumption logic.
Yeah, that keeps on updated based on the planning strategy you are using.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
so
Now,
based on
yeah.
the planning strategy, it will reduce. So you will say it is already reduced. So it was what you have maintained as 50, and out of 50, 8 has been already reduced.
Yeah, I think you used 40 strategy. Yeah, VSF.
Yeah.
In Fiori, we can see that withdrawal. Like if you see in MD61, yeah, it's schedule lines. So once your delivery is done, sorry, schedule. Yeah, once your delivery is done, you have a extra column here as withdrawal quantity. Also, you can set it right, like in the environment or somewhere. You will have an extra column, like in settings above on the, sorry, on the top. Yeah, I think settings or environment. Yeah, withdrawal quantity. Yeah, so this is basically when once you do goods issue against sales order, your reduction happens, right? Against
Yes,
the
yes.
quantity. Yeah. So in Fiori, that column, that all will be same, right? I didn't see that.
No,
But
no, no, no. Fiori, so we have two kind of application. You will see MD61 application, maintain PIR. That application is also there. And this application is different. This is a
yeah,
simplified application. This would not be having exactly the same way as you have MD61. This is not a replacement of MD61. This is a simplified version of MD61, which would not be having all of the function and features of MD61. It would be having only the basic function and features. So here, if you want to see it, let me go one step back. Here it is showing you some percentage of the accuracy that thing system would be showing you. And from the setting columns, you can see that what are the columns you can see here. The requirement plan, requirement segment, unit of measures, version, you would be able to put it here. Now from 1909, it's available that you can also maintain the PIR for the different versions with this application. Earlier, with 18 till 1809, it is only available with the active version. You can only maintain the PIRs here for active versions. So inactive version was not available. Now that has been added in 1909. So this would not be the exactly same replica of MD61. Exactly same replica of MD61, we would be having another application that also I would quickly show you. So this one, this information is there. And when you get inside this, you have only this information. what is the period, what is the quantity maintained, what are the sales has been booked. So you would be able to get this, you would be able to see the booked sales orders and what is accuracy. And system also propose some PIR quantities based on the calculation it does from the previous. It shows some proposed quantities.
Okay.
And you can also see a graphical view. What are the PIRs are there? What are the sales quantities? And where the proposals are going on? That would be there. So all the Fiori applications, if you will see that initial 1610 version, it was very, very basic. Now slowly SAP is increasing the functionalities in the Fiori applications. Okay, but it is a simplified way of the existing transaction. It's not the replica of existing transaction because there's a separate code has been written for it. The separate code structure is there. So don't expect that all MD61 things would be able. So what we need to do it, you need to just check it whether your business requirement can be fulfilled from this one or some specific set of user who are the end user who just need a basic information. They can get the information from here. And another set of users can use another application. That is your PIR application. Let me quickly search that application. PIR. So we have here create PIR. Now this is exact replica of MD61.
Okay.
So if you want exactly the same way, this is you need to use. This SAP call, these are the advanced application for your advanced core users, key users or consultants. They can use this. The end users who need some basic functionalities only and they want to easily understand the screen, this is for the end users.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
Sure. Any other question, guys? Okay, if you don't have any other question, I will also show you some more Fiori application, which is actually the same which I have explained, but a little bit tweaked for a different set of users. So let me also quickly explain that. So we have seen the material coverage ones. And then we are having a monitor external requirements and monitor internal requirements. So this would be showing you that based on the sales order which you are having, based on the sales, wherever you are having, based on the sales, wherever you are having shortages. So this is at the material level. So it will be showing that this TG0011 material is having a open quantity of 5,000. Out of open quantities, 4,945 is missing. So now it is only, actually it is the same order view which we were having earlier within the material coverage. This is the application for basically your procurement team and sales team can monitor that which material they have a sales order on hand and they are still, there's still issues from supply side. So you would be able to find that from here and you would be able to quickly take your actions from here. So if you will see here the detail of it, again, you can go into the manage items. So you see that it is already filtered with the ordered requirements. So here, system is showing you that these are the customers are there for this, customer orders are there for these ones. And here you are having a shortages. You have some purchase requisitions, you have some purchase order which is not delivered. You need to reschedule them. You need to focus on them to get them available. So exactly the same way the graphs are also available. You would be able to see your graphs where the shortage is coming, where the supplies are coming. You would be able to come to know. So here, this has been created, a same kind of application has been created for your sales team and the procurement team to focus your immediate sales, which we need to do it in next few days. You will also able to find our material. So here we have filters. You can filter it. You can click on more filters and then you can put a MRP area filter or material filter. You can put it here. I'm putting my plant as MRP area SG02. It's only showing me 2 MRP areas. Let me go and check the MRP settings here. Area of responsibility. SG2 is there. Let me try to filter with my material. SG02, FG01, patch. Okay, it shows no data. The reason why it shows no data, because for our material, our sales order we have seen in the previous graph, right? That we are not having a shortages. So it only shows the ones where basically we have a shortages. So wherever the missing quantities are there, only those materials has been showed here. Wherever the sales order has missing quantity, those material has been showed here. The same way, this is the monitor external requirement. Exactly the same way, we also have a monitor internal requirements. So the internal requirements would be from your PPCC team, production planning and control team, that based on the sales or production orders we are having on hand, to produce those production orders, what are the raw materials or semi-finished materials we require, and we don't have a stock available for them. So that you would be able to monitor from here. Again, whenever you find any material is missing, you would select those materials. You will try to check. It will again go into the manage components, where basically you would be having the same kind of screens. Your order requirement, your stock requirement list would be there, which you can see in the graphical form. And you can also see that what are the proposals from system to resolve the issues. So this is two specific applications has been created to check your shortages for internal requirement, which is your plant order and production orders, basically production orders, and to check external requirements, which is your sales orders, to check shortages for that. So if you have any issues during the master data run, some materials has some issues, then system generate a message into the run. That also you can view it from here. Then what are the materials which will be having some issues. So now it is showing successfully planned. Maybe in the next run it is planned. So wherever the issues are there, where the MRP run is not able to happen, you would be able to find, you would be able to get those material and plant combinations from here. And those material and plant combination where basically you are having an issue, you can try to run them as a classic run. If it is an issue due to the MRP live, you can try to run them as a classic MRP run. Now, how you would switch them to the classic MRP run? There is a separate transaction for that. Let's also see that transaction. So MD MRP force classic. This is a transaction MD underscore MRP underscore force underscore classic. So with this one, you would be able to find all the material. Let's say I'm just selecting my plant SG02. You can find the materials with issues, or all the materials within this plant you can identify from this report. So here you can tick that this is a classic MRP. So you can click on this one, okay, and then from here you can tick them that these need to run from classic MRP. If you're having a big list, you can select them all and click on select for classic MRP. So what will happen? The material which is ticked here as a classic MRP, then system would be running it rather than running MRP live logic for it. System would be running classic MRP logic. Basically, this we use if you get stuck any of your scenario which is not giving you expected results in MRP live. You get stuck with it. Then we use this classic MRP approach, or the another thing can be that if you are having your enhancements, your bodies has been implemented, and a specific group of material or specific plant need to run MRP through that body, that you can put it here as a classic MRP, so that you are still scheduling it with the single MD01N, but you are getting it result out of it. From the MD01N, system would be identify where the bodies has been implemented, that the system will run as a classic MRP, and rest system will run as a normal MRP. Okay, any question guys till this point? We have completed actually the MRP live part. If you have any questions, you can ask it now. Let me unmute. Yeah, now you will be able to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Parminder, here in this case, yeah, I know like MD01N is more of a foreground transaction. Like if I want to set a background transaction, like in MRP, we have kind of MDBT and all. How do we do here in this case?
You can set up a variant here, and then from the variant, you can, there's two ways would be there. One is that they have provided application also here. Let me quickly check if I would be able to search application. There's this application from where you would be able to schedule a batch job for MRP. Let me search for MRP.
MRP background or something.
There will be schedule MRP runs. Yeah, schedule MRP runs.
Yeah. Okay.
So from here, you would be able to go and schedule your MRP run.
Okay. Yeah.
And you can also schedule it. You can also save your variant in MD01N and then schedule as a normal batch job. That also you can do. You can save it as a variant, and then in normal SM37 you can schedule a batch job for that.
Okay.
Hey, Parminder, a quick question again from my side. The switching back from MRP live to classic MRP, let's say if you were planning a product, running it through MRP live, and then today you want to run it through classic MRP, would there be any special considerations there? Like would you have to do any special runs or anything that you like a cleansing run to be able to then swap from one model to the other model?
You just need to have an initial run for MRP live. That's what we need to do.
Regenerative, right?
Regenerative run, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Sure. Okay, guys, so if we don't have any questions here, so what we'll do, we'll finish our session here for today. There's one more topic which I actually thought we'll be covering today, but let's do it tomorrow. We don't have much time left. That is the MRP area. So what are the changes are there in MRP area? That we will be covering quickly tomorrow. That will not take much time, maybe 20-25 minutes it will take. And then we'll switch to the DDMRP, demand-driven MRP in tomorrow's session.
Yeah. So, sorry, Parminder, I had one generic question not related to MRP live. Like yesterday I was saying about this PPDS flow, right? Like currently in APO, when we have kind of DP, SNP, and PPDS, your unconstrained plan will come from DP, then SNP, then PPDS, then the constrained figures comes to your MDO4. Now, when PPDS is inside S4 HANA, how the flow will be like? It will come from MD61 to PPDS or for capacity modeling and all. So if you can just probably in some other class.
No, I can quickly answer it from here. So what happened for the PPDS? PPDS is also kind of another run. Okay. So when you are running MD01N for PPDS and MRP, both are a planning engine. Okay. What would be the output of PPDS? The output of PPDS would be planned order or purchase requisition. What is the output of MRP? MRP output is also planned order or purchase requisition. What is the input which we will be taking it for the MRP? Input would be your PIRs, purchase requisitions, stocks, sales order, that would be the input. Same way, the same input would be there, PIR, PR, SO. Now from where this PIR is coming, whether it is coming from your demand planning, whether it is you are uploading through Excel, you are using a third-party tool and then uploading a PIRs, or you are having a IBP system from where you are doing your demand planning and bringing your PIRs here. The key thing here to identify that this material, whether it would be running on a PPDS engine or it would be running a MRP engine. When it would be running a PPDS engine, it would be having a different algorithms. The capacity constraint algorithms, which we also call it different heuristics system would be running. So the algorithm would be different. Input and outputs are same. Here MRP is having a generic algorithm. The same exact MRP algorithm also you can run it on PPDS. And you can also run the complex algorithms like your capacity constraint. And based on that, it can generate the planned order. So the key identifier is that whether this material is PPDS material or MRP. So based on that, it will go in this engine. Input and output would be same for both of them, whether it is running a PPDS, embedded PPDS, or MRP. From where you are getting a PIR, in both of the cases, the PIR can come from external calculations, tools, upload, manual creations through your SOP, or through IBP system, the PIRs can come. It can come from any way, but both of the tools consider them as a forecast.
Okay. So the key indicator, that advanced planning indicator, will differentiate where it will flow, right?
Yes,
Like,
right.
okay. Yeah, thanks. It's
Okay,
great.
guys. Any other generic questions or any XYZ questions you have, you can ask it now before we close it.
So plan order comes actually
Sorry.
from IBP. Plan order comes to S/4HANA.
If the planned order can come, your purchase requisition can come, or your planned independent requirement can come. Any
Okay.
three can come from IBP. It depends what solution in IBP you are using it. Okay, guys, if you don't have any another question here for today, we are closing our today's session. Tomorrow we'll join, we'll go cover the MRP area and we'll start the DDMRP. So thank you everyone for joining today. We'll catch back again tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye for now.
Thank